Welcome back to Robinhood Stock Market Watchlist Group. My name is Carlos and today is Sunday, July 18th. In this video we're going to talk about some stock market information and look ahead this coming week to see what this week is going to be like. This is not financial advice. This is stock market information that we're going to look ahead to see what each day is most likely going to be like. Starting with the economic reports. Economic reports have the biggest impact on the stock market. So the best thing to do is to always look ahead to see what each report is and what is scheduled to be released. That way we know exactly how that can affect the stock market. So this coming week is very light. Usually it is not this light at all. It's usually there's a lot of stuff, a lot of activity going on with the economic reports, but there's just not a whole lot. I'm not exactly sure why. Maybe because this week is going to be a huge earnings week, or maybe a lot of politicians are on vacation. Either way, this is what is scheduled to be released that will have the biggest impact on the stock market that's affected by the economic reports. Now, usually there isn't anything scheduled for Monday or Fridays, so that's normal. But like I said, there's a very light amount of activity scheduled for this week. So I think overall that could be a pretty good bullish sign for majority of the week. Where Monday, so there isn't anything scheduled for Monday, so a lot of investors are very eager to get back into investing in the stock market from over the weekend. And a lot of times you'll get a lot of people that'll sell on Fridays. That's why Fridays are usually down a lot typically, and they'll get back in either during pre-market of Monday or right after opening on Monday. So either way, there's a lot of people that really like to get back in, and that really helps Mondays the stock market system stay in the green. It stays positive. So unless there's something that manipulates the market, like some really bad news, it could be and it could be on the other side of the world too. So but I don't really see anything that's really really bad that would cause a big massive or to interfere with the stock market for tomorrow or for Monday. So Monday overall looks really good, especially as Friday before close took a really big dive. It provided a great amount of buying opportunities. A lot of people bought in a lot of stuff at a very low price, and that's going to even help Monday morning's pre-market even more. So that way, as people are buying more into stocks, that should help change the direction and in the upwards direction. So so Monday should look pretty good, and then going into Tuesday we have the buildings permit for the month of June is scheduled to be released 1 hour before the stock market opens. And so the building permits are basically how many permits that the government has issued to basically contractors. And if you talk to any contractors lately, they're friggin' busy. I mean, they have so much work that they need help, that they can't find enough people to help them. And so they are so booked up for almost the rest of the year, if not even going into next year, when it comes to building homes and businesses and stuff. So this forecast is to be around 1.7 million. The previous report was 1.68 million. And so as long as it can meet or beat the previous, we should be fine. If it can meet or beat the forecast, we're even better. And so that is, it's looking pretty optimistic because of there's a lot more supplies that are accessible. Contractors, like I said, they're going nuts, building a lot of stuff. They got a lot of orders. So Tuesday morning looks good, and then going into Wednesday we have the crude oil inventory report that is scheduled to be released 1 hour after the stock market opens. So when it comes to the crude oil inventories, we need this number to be down. So the lower the number, the better, because it basically shows that people are driving more, they're flying, they're going on trips, they're spending money. If they're driving, they're spending money on restaurants and retail and all kinds of stuff. So that's great for the economy. Not so much great for the price per gallon of gas that we all have to pay for the most part, unless you own an electric vehicle. But but the forecast looks like it's workable. Where like it's pretty low. I mean, in a reverse sense, but the forecast is forecast to be about a negative 4.3 million, where the previous report was down a negative point, or a negative 7.89. Now that was because of the 4th of July week, and so that was a really down low, which is good. But I don't think it's going to be as low, but I still think it's going to be in between what is forecast and the previous report. And again, as long as it can meet or beat the forecast, we're good. If it can get anywhere between those, we're even better. Especially if it can beat the previous report, which I doubt. But I'm pretty sure it'll probably reach somewhere in between. And so in that case, Wednesday should be looking pretty good. So we got both Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday looking pretty good. And then on Thursday we have the unemployment report, and then the existing home sales. So these two is I'm a little uncertain about, a little concerned, because the initial jobless claims report is our unemployment report. This report is scheduled to be released 1 hour before the stock market opens, so it will have a slight impact on during the pre-market. But the reports or these numbers are slowing down. And so where the previous report of unemployment for the last week was 360,000 people that filed unemployment for the previous week before that. And then but it's forecast to be down a little bit, 350,000. I mean, it's starting to bounce around that mid 30,000 range. And so we need the government to make it a little bit harder for people to keep claiming unemployment, because there's a lot of people that are kind of relying on it now and don't want to go back to work, for whatever reason. And but it's affecting these numbers here and the economy. And so and that's why we're seeing a lot of people around, like your neighborhoods. I mean, a lot of businesses around your neighborhoods that have for hire signs. They're having a hard time finding people willing to work. And a lot of times you find these businesses that they'll have a sign-up bonus or pay huge, wages. And so, but we're seeing it right here in these weekly reports. So, the unemployment report may not be so great. So Thursday is a little concerning. So existing home sales, that's like your used houses, used homes. So existing home sales report for the month of June is going to be released about 30 minutes after the stock market opens on Thursday, July 22nd. It is forecast to be around 5.9 million, where the previous report was about 4.8 million. So, but there are some issues. There's a lot of people that have been either selling their homes for whatever reason, maybe because they can get a lot of money out of it. Maybe they're buying an RV or travel trailer and a truck and wanting to travel around the country, or maybe they're downsizing or upsizing, or whatever that the case may be. There's still a lot of activity in the housing industry. But we still hear a lot about inventory issues, meaning inventory shortages. But at the same time, everybody's home values are increasing 5% almost on a monthly basis. And so, but that is really kind of encouraging people to sell their homes for a lot of money. And so it is a great opportunity, in that industry. And so, but it's just really cutting it close. Both of these forecasts are just coming really, really close. And that's where I almost want to do a straddle strategy, where I buy both a call and a put, not knowing exactly for sure whether this day is going to be up or down, because it could really be either or. So I'm a little worried about Thursday, kind of a 50-50, but both Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday look good. And then Fridays, Fridays are very, sometimes unpredictable. Most of the time Fridays are down because, they make a good sell-off day. That way we can get prices down low, buy them, low, and that way we'll carry over to the next day. But if we look into the next following week for the economic report, there's a little bit more activity. So now we have, for Monday, July 26th, we have the new home sales for the month of June. So again, normally we do not see economic reports scheduled for Monday, but we do on this Monday. Now, new home sales. So we're relying on contractors to get these building permits. We rely on these contractors to for a lot of stuff, but ultimately, as they build these homes, they are all booked up for a long time, and they're building as much. I mean, they can't build these homes fast enough. They have so many orders that it almost seems like this is going to be a good report. The previous report was up 769,000. It is forecast to be up 800,000. So I'm thinking, going back to the previous for this week, for Friday, July 23rd. Friday could actually be one of those Fridays in the green, which is very rare. We don't see that very often, but I think we're due for a green Friday. This could be the Friday, but again, it's a little uncertain because it just depends on what happens. Sometimes the government could throw in an unexpected economic report, or maybe they want to talk about inflation or interest rates again. But I don't think that's going to happen. But we still want to pay close attention. But we can see that for the following week after this week, that on Wednesday, July 28th, we have the government having their meeting again. They want to talk about the interest rates and inflation. And so that day is going to be very, very volatile. So, but I'll do another video. We'll go over this particular week on next Sunday. But overall, for this week, it's very light when it comes to the economic report. But it looks like overall, I think we're going to have a great week, especially Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But Thursday, a little uncertain. But Friday, that kind of has to do with us investors on what we decide to do for Friday. That's to be determined. So we got to focus on the pre-market that day, and that should kind of help give us a good clue if Friday is going to keep going up that day, going into a great, phenomenal Monday, July 26th. So so this week there is also going to be a very busy week when it comes to earning reports. And so I always post in our Facebook group the top 10 not economic reports, but the top 10 most anticipated earning releases in the description here. But also you can find the calendar right here in our announcement area. And every weekend I also post the top 10s analysis in the announcement area for your reference. So Tractor Supply is scheduled to release their earnings report Monday morning. So that's tomorrow morning. The company earnings release has a 61% expecting an earnings beat, which is about average. Usually average is around 65% more or less. The next one is IBM. IBM is scheduled to release their earnings report Monday after close. The company's earnings release has a 67% expecting an earnings beat, just right around average. It's not bad. And so next one would be Snapchat. Snap is confirmed to release their earnings report Thursday evening after close. The company's earnings release has a 65% expecting an earnings beat, so right around average. American Airlines is confirmed to release their earnings report Thursday evening or Thursday morning before the stock market opens. The company's earning release has a 51% expecting an earnings beat. Not very good for American Airlines. Next one is Johnson & Johnson. They're getting, they've always been getting a lot of media attention lately, but whether it's bad or good, even good publicity is, or even bad publicity is good publicity. Johnson & Johnson is scheduled to release their earnings report Wednesday morning before the stock market opens. The company's earnings release has a 69% expecting an earnings beat, just a little above average. Intel is scheduled to release their earnings report Thursday evening after the stock market closes. The company's earnings release has a 61% expecting an earnings beat. Coca-Cola is scheduled to release their earnings report Wednesday morning before the stock market opens. The company's earnings release has a 68% expecting an earnings beat, just a little above average. AT&T is scheduled to release their earnings report Thursday morning before the stock market opens. The company's earnings release has a 56% expecting an earnings beat, which falls below average. Not very good. You're almost 50-50 on that one. Netflix, very highly anticipated earnings this week. They are scheduled to release their earnings report Tuesday evening after the stock market closes. The company's earning release has a 67% expecting an earnings beat. Now, if you're fairly new to the stock market, the Netflix has not had the best earnings report in quite a while. They seem to kind of fail their EPS. They may beat their revenue, but a lot of times what we've noticed is that the Netflix price has already been kind of factored in, assuming that they're going to beat their earnings. But even when they do, or whatever happens, Netflix price usually plunges after their earnings report. So just be careful going into that. It's usually better to wait till after earnings, see what happens, and as if it plunges, then you can kind of buy in at a much lower price than if you were to buy at a higher price before the earnings was released. So just be careful on that one. Check out its earnings history and you'll see what I'm talking about. Next one is, or last but not least, is the Cleveland Cliffs, which sometimes an image can say 1,000 words. As we have been experiencing a shortage in microchips and semiconductors, but what does it take to make a microchip? It takes rare earth materials. So if we don't have rare earth materials, we can't build microchips. If we can't build microchips, we can't build electronics. That's why there's a shortage in cell phones, video game consoles, vehicles, anything with electronic. There's a shortage on it. And so the Cleveland Cliffs is scheduled to release their earnings report Thursday morning before the stock market opens. The company's earning release has an 87% expecting an earnings beat. That is far beyond average and is almost unheard of. I mean, very rarely do you see expecting an earnings beat at 80% or higher than that. Usually, if you do see something pretty high, it's usually around that 70%. But 80%, almost 90%, that is absolutely high and almost unheard of. That's almost near 90%. That's like 9 out of 10 odds the stock is going to beat their earnings and the stock's going to go up. And so this is definitely going to be on the news, and as you are aware of, if you're not already, the pros have an old saying: buy on rumors, sell on news. If you buy on news, you left a lot of money on the table. A lot of times when there is a news report, even if it's good news, the stock still drops, before it begins to recover. So just be careful, but just be aware that I keep all this information under our announcements area in our group for your reference. That way you can take advantage of it. So the next thing that we need to look at is stock options activity. And so this activity is going to be from last Friday. So let's take a look at the kind of a summary of everything, because Friday was pretty brutal. It was very bearish, but yeah, it was very brutal for a lot of people, but yeah, very bearish unless you know how to profit from it. So Apple dominated the stock options last Friday, and so with almost 2.5 million in options volume, but out of that options volume, 67% are betting that the stock's going to keep going up, whether it be that day or most likely be on Monday and Tuesday. Then AMC's been getting a lot of attention, particularly from the bag holders. Is currently at just under $35, but they made it second place on the list, about 1 million in options volume. Normally they're like 200,000, 300,000 or so, on a good day. But out of this amount of volume, 55% are betting that the stock's going to go up. Almost 45% are betting against the stock, betting that the stock's going to keep going down. So just be careful with AMC. In fact, I highly recommend just stay out of it. AMC is just part of this little scheme of what I call stock market warfare in between investors and certain hedge fund companies. And so it's just best not to get involved in it. But I have noticed that some of these meme stocks are more active several weeks before the triple witching days, which I will alert you guys again before that happens. But that'll take place in September. So if a lot of people that are involved in AMC and I believe that AMC is going to keep diving down for the rest of this month in October, but come September, during the next triple witching day on the third Friday, I believe that the social media and Wall Street Bets or whoever is going to pump up AMC again. We may see AMC actually reach $100 if they can keep and maintain AMC around that $30 to $40 area until then. It could easily reach $100 then. But if it keeps falling down, if it reaches $20, $10, it's going to be much harder to get it at $100. So we'll see what happens. But I believe that AMC's time to shine again is going to be in September. So we're still quite a ways away from it. So Tesla's usually on this list. And this is common, especially lately, where out of this amount of volume, Tesla investors are 35% are betting that the stock's going to go up, where 46% are betting against the stock, betting that Tesla stock's going to go down. So it does not look really good for Tesla. Tesla stock's been kind of hovering around that $600 to $700 range. But I think overall, especially when you look at the graphs and the charts, Tesla's downtrending. Amazon, which is not normally on the top of this list, it's usually in the middle or down below. It's definitely creating a lot of attention, especially ever since when the U.S. government announced that they decided to cancel the deal with Microsoft for the little cloud-based server stuff. Gives Amazon an opportunity, but we'll see what happens. But it's definitely, a lot of people are buying into it though. But we'll see what happens. I think that probably the government probably won't do Microsoft or Amazon. They'll probably do their own thing and probably think it's cheaper or something. I don't know. It's just a different administration with the government. Nvidia. So Nvidia was pretty active. They're 5th on the list. I'm glad that it's here. It gives us something to talk about as well. But out of this amount of volume, 50% are betting that the stock's going to go up. 50% are betting against the stock. And it wasn't that long ago, in the beginning of the week of last week, where Nvidia was $800 a share. Now it's almost $700 a share. Keep in mind, Nvidia is going to have a split soon. What, in a week? Is it a week or two? I can't remember. We'll have to double check. But usually a stock will kind of trend up before the split happens. And I think Nvidia is going to do either a 4-way or I believe it's a 5-way split. Because I was hoping that Nvidia would have reached $1,000 before the split. And normally what happens after the split, the stock plunges, whether it's a split or reverse split. You know, it's kind of one of those, you know, buy on rumor, sell on news type things. And so as long as, you know, we just have to watch NVIDIA and see, you know, what it does between now and then. But after the split, I mean, it's all, I mean, it should be very, very bearish. It should be a very bearish time. This stock should most likely plunge. Will provide a great buying opportunity, especially for puts. Let's bet against this thing after it splits, and let's make a lot of money. It's just very interesting how it's been really taking a dive this last week, but this last week wasn't a really good week anyways. If you watch my last video, it was very bearish prediction anyways, and it predicted to be just that. And so and so that's why maybe NVIDIA and a lot of other stocks, you took a dive. But as we talk more about this coming week, this week looks very bullish. So so this could easily reach back up in that $800 range, and so we'll make a great call option. But like I said, we got to keep an eye on NVIDIA because it's going to reach the news. We got to plan accordingly. Snapchat is on here. They have again their earning report that are scheduled this week. Snapchat, which is right around that $59 area, it was down a couple percentages, but out of this amount of volume, 50%, almost 51%, are betting the stock's going to go up, or 49% is betting against the stock. So those are not good odds. 50-50, those are not good. Microsoft, so it's just, you know, there's, you know, pretty interesting things here. Some of these are normally on here, some of them are not, but we do see like this one here, which is not normally on here, ATOS, definitely one to keep an eye on. They did plunge, I'm not sure why, but they were down $4.50, almost down 20% last Friday. That's a lot. But out of this amount of volume, which, like I said, this is an unusual activity. It's never on this list. Now it is. But out of this amount of volume, over 84% is betting that the stock is going to go up. So whether people are trying to lower their average cost, or maybe people are jumping in waiting for a good recovery. So this could be a good opportunity, especially for this week. So we could see even Monday or Tuesday ATOS providing a lot of interesting activity. So we've got to put that one on our watch list. You know, so let's switch it up here. Let's go to the options volume leaders, and this will provide us information on the most active individual calls and puts. So last Friday, and so some of these are going to be expired, so we're going to ignore those. I'll let you know, because the DTE lets us know how many days until it expires. So 0 is no longer available, so we got to ignore those. So the first one is still active. This is an Apple call. Apple's around $146 a share, but we have a $150 call strike price that expires this Friday, July 23rd, with a volume of 121,000 in options volume, with the open interest of 83,000. So the options volume has exceeded the open interest, showing a massive amount of unusual buying activity. So there's a lot of investors that still absolutely believe that it's not only going to reach $150, but now $155 with the same expiration date, and with the volume 69,000 also surpasses the 49,000 open interest, showing a tremendous amount of unusual buying activity on that $155 call strike price. So it's like these investors are spending millions and millions of dollars betting that these stocks are going to reach these strike prices, which in another way we can look at them as a target price. So there's a lot more Apple activities in a couple different call strike prices and expiration dates, but then we have another one here that's a little different, is the DraftKings. And so this is sports related, so we were starting to see some information. I'm seeing like a straddle strategy going on here. So DraftKings DKNG is currently around $43.79 a share. We have a put strike price at $40, and we have a call strike price at $60. Both of them with the same expiration date that expires approximately around 91 days in October 15th. Now the put has an open interest of around 4,000, where the call has a open interest around 7,000. So they're very close. And the volume is very close as well, where the put has the volume of 38,000 and the call has a volume of around 36,000. So they're still very, very comparable. So that's why to me it looks like a straddling. People are buying both just in case. Now, what usually happens during the fall? That's usually you know, where we're seeing a lot of sports games going on, the football and everything. So DraftKings is a huge sports thing. It's fairly new. It was just listed in the stock market a year ago or a couple years ago, and so and so it could be at a really low point. So we could be seeing a great opportunity with this, because if DraftKings right now is around $40 a share and it has a strike price at $60, and if it reaches that is almost a 50% gain in a matter of like 3 months. So whether you're into stock options or not, you can still look at this information to buy in shares if you wanted. And so but there seems to be a lot of activity on DraftKings right now for some reason. So let's do some research on that this weekend, and so that way we can plan accordingly for this week as we enter. And so American Airlines, we were just talking about their scheduled earnings this week. They're around $19.79 with a put strike price at $23. So this one is already in the money. It expires next month on August 20th. So we're a little ways away from that, but the open interest was only 13,000, and now it has a massive amount of unusual buying activity at 35,000 in volume. So a lot of activity on that one. Next one, Alibaba has a lot of unusual buying activity at this $215 call strike price that expires this Friday on the 23rd. Really had no open interest, just a little over 2,000, and now it has a lot of volume, a lot of pure. This is like 99% buying activity when we see these numbers like this. So there's a lot of people are buying into it. They're like saying, oh, that Alibaba, this is time to make a little bit of money going into Monday possibly, or maybe for the week. Next one that's active, there's another Apple, Microsoft. We got a Microsoft call strike price at $285. Microsoft is around $180 right now. Open interest was around 8,000, and now the volume is 30,000 on Friday right before close. So a lot of great information that we're seeing here as we prepare ourselves going into what looks like it's going to be a very bullish, very green week. Thank you guys very much for watching my video. I'm going to post another one next Sunday, so stay tuned. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Stay safe out there, you guys. Make good choices. Good luck, and we'll see you again next week.